Forza Horizon 4 announcement reveal. It's official, it's confirmed. We now know the next game from Playground Games, the next entry into the series, will be based in none other than the United Kingdom. To be honest, we all knew that. I think, there's been loads and loads and loads of leaks all over the place. Everyone's been talking about it, going from Japan to the UK, back to Japan to the UK, and now we know it's going to be here in the United Kingdom. I say here because I am from the United Kingdom, as you can probably tell by my accent. So the announcement itself was led by Microsoft chief Phil Spencer. The trailer kicked off with the beautiful McLaren Sun tearing it up. I'm not sure whether or not it's going to be the cover car. It probably is. It makes sense for it to be, given the fact that it got a lot of coverage in the first 10 to 20 seconds of the actual gameplay video itself. Also, not only that, but as a lot of you may know, McLaren is traditionally a British brand, so it's perfectly fitting in keeping with the location of where the game's being based, a British cover car for a game based in Britain. I don't think many of us can argue with that. Hopefully they won't go and ruin this prediction by putting a bloody black cab on the front box of the cover, but nevertheless, the question is, what sets Forza Horizon 4 apart from its predecessor FH3 and the game before that FH2? Because let's be honest, there hasn't really been any drastic changes of late. Some are perfectly happy with that, others feel that the actual franchise is starting to get a little bit stale. The biggest change they've made this year is with the introduction of dynamic seasonal gameplay changes. Now, with normal dynamic weather systems, typically you would expect weather to just change, whether it be from rain to cloud, or from cloud to sun, or from rainbows to thunderstorms. A mechanic that you've seen in previous titles, in previous games, in different franchises. But what makes Forza Horizon 4 different, what sets them apart, is that these seasonal changes have a direct impact on the type of events that are available, as well as making certain areas of the map change in terms of their accessibility. So I'll give you an example. In the trailer itself, as you can probably see looping on screen, what they did is they decided to show us each different season one by one. So spring, summer, autumn, which in America you guys refer to as the fall, and winter. Now during the autumn, there's actually an image you can see of a very vast lake which is stretching miles and miles across the landscape. When the actual season flipped into winter, that lake, which is obviously, a vast plain of water which you can't drive through, then froze over. It completely froze over and became an icy based track where there was some sort of event taking place. That is an example of how the seasons actually change the environment and open up different events. New parts of the game become accessible, new areas become available to explore, and existing areas completely change in their dynamic. Now, as you can expect, there are going to be some seasonal, periodic, live Forza-thon events tied into these seasonal changes. So for that purpose, you would expect, and rightly so, that this system is going to be unified and completely synced up, meaning that if you live in Canada and it's winter in your game world, then your buddy living over in Australia is going to be having the exact same weather. If you live in India and it's summer in your game world, well, guess what? My uncle in Nigeria with his 56 different eBay accounts is going to be experiencing the exact same in-game summer as you, while scamming you out of your monies. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of this. It's innovative, it's different, it's fresh, it's something that they haven't done before. It's taking dynamic weather and interchangeable environments to a whole new level. A AAA feature worthy of a AAA title. Now, another interesting new feature, which some may say is less impressive, is the fact that you can actually now communicate with those around you in the in-game world. So they're going towards this whole social aspect. So quite frankly, the way it works is, say you're cruising along the M25, that's a motorway or a highway as you call it in the States, that we have over here in the UK anyway. You come across someone in-game, you've got the ability to basically send them a text-based message that pops up like an SMS or an iMessage, if you want to call it that, or a WhatsApp message. And I think it's preloaded conversational starters that ask simple things like, yo, do you want to start drifting? Or hey, do you want to be part of a convoy? And then with immediate effect, you guys can start doing what you want to do, whether it's Gymkhana drifts, 2Gs, or whatever it is, drag runs, who knows. But it's a nice little touch, and it just, improves the whole social aspect of the game. Now, logic says that in order for that to work properly and for the mechanic to be efficient, you would need someone to respond to your request, right? Well, they said that every single player that you come across in your in-game world is going to be a human-based player. Now, I'm not sure how that works personally. I mean, surely if there's a period of low activity on the server, then surely they're going to have to just, fill out your session with some sort of AI bots. But then again, at the same time, if there is low activity, they'll probably drastically lower the amounts of servers available and just group us all together. Okay, cool, I get it. Oh, good stuff. Now, in the announcement trailer itself, they didn't mention anything about car counts or anything like that, because obviously this trailer was squeezed in between, I think it was about between 10 or 15 different announcements. It was part of the overall Xbox E3 session, so they're probably going to focus more on Forza Horizon 4 later on in the actual show itself, or maybe later on in the week, who knows, and I'll have more information of those specifics in time. Another thing that I found impressive though was the different types of variety in terms of the events, the surface types, the road types that were actually shown off. Now, not to patronize anybody, but for those who don't know, the United Kingdom, believe it or not, is actually not one country. We're actually an island made up of various countries: England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Now, up in Scotland, there were lots of twisty roads, and it looked like that was the area of the game they were in when they were actually doing the drifting. There was nice twisty bits and pieces where people were getting sideways, getting the tail out in close proximity. So all of you guys that like your drifting, it looks like the game is definitely going to have areas which are going to keep you ejaculating for the next 2 months or so. Please remember to use Vaseline whilst watching this. But the trailer was also action-packed and featuring other aspects as well. So the beaches that we've got down here, there was some sand dune action. You had some what looked like some rallycross, which I'm really interested in getting my hands on. You saw them tearing up the forest, going through what looked like to be hill climbs, plenty of speed being hit on the asphalt. Now, a few things that I actually spotted in the trailer. First and foremost, I saw a giant hovercraft. There's a hovercraft in the game, people. Now, we know there's going to be hovercrafts in The Crew 2, which is going to be this game's biggest rival this year. But what is this? Is this the invasion of the hovercraft? Is this the year that the hovercraft takes over the action world racing genre? If it is, I'm all for it. Invasion of the hovercrafts. What I also saw as well, more interestingly, was I saw a scene whereby there was some cars and some bikes. It looked like some sort of motocross bikes that were actually doing some sort of flip-based stunts. Now, I've got a theory. It's either A, there's going to be bikes and hovercrafts as drivable vehicles in the actual game itself, or B, these could simply be showcase events. Now, those of you who don't know, Forza has a history of doing what's known as showcase events, where you end up racing like jet planes or trains and things like that, sort of like silly Top Gear challenges, if you will. So I don't know what category this falls into. It could be trophy events, or they could be drivable. I'm hoping that they're actually drivable, but I might be pushing my luck a little bit too far on that one. Now, I also noticed two things in relation to the McLaren Sun. The first, and this is where I'm going to need you guys' help, I noticed the actual brake calipers were orange. Now, I can't remember for the life of me whether or not we have the option to change brake caliper colours in Forza Horizon 3. If we did, let me know, and I know that this is nothing to get excited over. If we didn't, then this obviously shows that there's an increased level of customization to play with here. The second thing I noticed was on the in-car shot, you can actually see that there's hands on the actual steering wheel, and those hands are actually wearing gloves, not racing gloves, woolly gloves, the type of gloves that you'll wear during the winter months to keep your hands warm. This suggests to me that we're looking at an increased level of character customization. Sorry, I'm getting all my words tied up. Character customization. It looks like we've got more in-depth choices as to what we can do in relation to personalizing our in-game avatar, which would make perfect sense because that's the direction they started to push towards with Forza Motorsport 7. And as you know, some of the things that happen in Motorsport 7 gets implemented into the following Horizon game. So yeah, that's just about it. Those are all the things I've managed to pick up from the trailer. Now, here's the thing. What I can see from Forza Horizon 4 is that they had a clear vision here. There was clearly a vision and a whole point to go into the UK. Again, for those of you who don't know, the UK, we have terribly unpredictable weather here. There's a saying that you can have all 4 seasons in one day, sometimes in half a day. And the fact that they're implementing the whole seasonal change thing into the game, it's so fitting. And not only that, but obviously the different surface types, the different styles of events that are available, those are the things that you would expect to happen in the UK for the most part. And I know there's a lot of you that wanted Japan and whatnot. There was a big push towards Japan. But personally, the reason why I stayed silent, I didn't speak on it, was because I knew if done correctly, the UK could actually be a decent place for a racing game. Obviously, there's going to be a big army of you who disagree, and that's absolutely perfectly fine. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm happy that at least they're not just taking the UK for what it is. They're actually trying to expand it, make it enjoyable, put a lot of variety into it, and genuinely make the game feel different from previous Forza titles. The portfolio of events, the seasonal changes, all these things here, the mud-based motocross events, that's not fitting with the Japanese culture. There's no way that it wouldn't have made sense. So I get why they did it in the UK. If this was the idea of what they had, then this for me was the better choice of setting out of the two locations. And that just about wraps things up for this video. So in the comment section below, start letting me know what your thoughts were on the trailer. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Or were you like surprised with the little bit of innovation they've shown this time round? Let me know your thoughts. If it's your first time around here, I wish you a warm welcome. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe button. I'm going to give you more information on the game as soon as it starts to drop. Hopefully we can find out how customization works this time around and other bits and pieces. But anyway, I'll see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy, peace.